You know, sometimes songs that have become classics aren't quite what we think they are. Hidden meanings, mistaken lyrics, even misunderstood messages, all those things. And these are tracks that have fooled listeners for decades. Today, we're going to count down and share the crazy backstories behind the most misunderstood songs of all time, including a feel-good party anthem we all sing, but it was actually inspired by a chilling live news broadcast about a man ready to leap off a building. And then there was the obsessed fan that stalked his favorite singer, sending deranged letters, which the singer used as the basis for one of her biggest songs, only to have that crazy fan sue her, claiming his obsessed meanderings inspired the song. Find out what happened in the lawsuit. And finally, the world's #1 band wrote the most complicated nursery rhyme ever recorded with a very adult theme that's so creepy it still gives us nightmares. Creepy song for sure. It's the top 6 most misunderstood songs of the rock era. Next on Professor of Rock. Hey, music junkies. Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you remember trying to jump over the barrels to save the princess, the original Donkey Kong, you're going to dig this channel of deep musical nostalgia. Make sure to subscribe below right now. I know you'll dig this channel and find something. We also have a podcast. Check it out on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us and follow us there. It's time to go into detail on the songs that many think are one thing, but are another thing entirely. 6 of the most misunderstood songs of our time. And it leads me to the question that I always ask, does anyone actually listen to the lyrics anymore? Or did they ever? Let's do it. Our countdown of the top 6 of the most misunderstood songs of the rock era, kicks off with Crash Into Me by the Dave Matthews Band at number 6. You know, first listen, Crash Into Me sounds like a gentle romantic plea, an invitation to be close, to connect, and share a moment of vulnerability. It's kind of got that sweet, tender vibe to it, like a sentimental love song. I mean, it's been used as prom theme for scores of high schools. Again, does anybody listen to the lyrics? Crash Into Me is primarily about voyeurism, specifically from the perspective of someone watching a woman through her window without her permission. I mean, Dave's lyrics contain unsettling imagery related to observing someone without their knowledge or their consent. Peeping Tom stuff here, like this part. Show your world to me. And I watch you there through the window and I stare at you, wear nothing, but you wear it so well. Kind of creepy. I mean, those lines in the 4th verse are clearly about a peeping Tom, which makes the song's romantic sweetness feel a lot darker and creepier when you really think about it. Hike up your skirt a little more. Whether you let the creepiness overwhelm you or you just listen to the song for its delicate romantic charm and ignore the lyrics, Crash Into Me is definitely one of Dave Matthews' most beloved compositions. Dave really wants the song to represent the universal human experience of a longing, about the tension between intimacy and independence and the delicate dance of love and vulnerability. I'm so lost for you. But let's be honest, the lyrics, the way it's sung, sounds more like a Predator. For me, as the years go by, it gets more and more creepy. It's like the Bruce Springsteen song, I'm on Fire. Is this song by a legendary songwriter or a serial killer? I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway. Little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? Crash Into Me was written during a period of emotional upheaval for Dave. He was grappling with feelings of love and longing and sometimes insecurity. The song's hypnotic melody, it disguises the complex emotions behind it. Desire, caution, and the recognition that love can be both beautiful and fragile. Oh, I watch you there through the window and I stare. Crash Into Me was the 3rd single drop from DMB's sophomore album, Crash, culminating at number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 7 on the alternative rock chart in '97. The song was nominated for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with vocals at the Grammy Awards in '98. And don't even say anything about every breath you take. This is far more creepy than that.
Every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
Coming in at number 5 of the top 6 misunderstood songs, Jump by the mighty Van Halen. In the early 80s, Van Halen's lead singer David Lee Roth was in a hotel in Bloomington, Indiana, flipping through television channels, just kicking it, having a good time. He was looking for a distraction from the usual chaos of rock stardom. And suddenly, a local news broadcast caught his attention, a story about a young man contemplating taking his own life by jumping off the roof of a building. The raw emotion and desperation in that moment struck Roth deeply, and it inspired him to write Jump. That broadcast, it actually haunted DLR. Even someone as seemingly carefree and independent as Diamond Dave couldn't shake those images. It was a stark reminder of how fragile life could be, and how sometimes all it takes is a little courage to turn things around. Now, inspired by that moment, Dave began to think about the importance of taking a leap of faith, literally and metaphorically.
Might as well jump.
The feeling of adrenaline, risk, and the desire to overcome fear became the seed for his lyrics in Jump. As he watched the live report of the despondent man, he thought about the onlookers on the ground and, what they might be thinking. Go ahead and jump. Damn, that's hardcore, even for Diamond Dave. It's pretty brutal if you think about it. Now, Van Halen producer Ted Templeman gave Diamond Dave an instrumental track with Eddie playing a synthesizer melody and asked him to write lyrics for the music. Dave harkened back to the news broadcast of that man standing on the ledge of a building contemplating jumping. And he remembered the line that he thought of, go ahead and jump. The more Dave thought about it, the more he was convinced it could be the theme for the song. But it's a little bit different. You won't think it's so hardcore after you hear this. He ran the idea of turning that phrase into a song lyric by Larry Hostler, a carpenter that became Van Halen's chief roadie while they were driving in Dave's 51 Mercury. Larry told Dave it was a great idea for a song. Dave has graciously given Larry a lot of credit for helping him shape the lyrics for Jump. Larry actually passed away in 2023. I don't think he ever got any royalties for that song. But when Dave sat down to write the words for Jump, he decided to change the theme of the tune from a man threatening to take his own life to being about fighting through adversity, rolling with the punches to get to what's real. DLR, Eddie, Alex, and Michael used the song's upbeat, energetic vibe to mask the deeper emotional core. The understanding that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just to jump. Well, not to take your own life, but to make your body move away from danger and despair. So it's not as bad as you thought it was.
Can't you see what I mean?
Jump was Van Halen's lone number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 as the lead single from the landmark 1984 album. It's very strange to think where the song came from, though. Seeing a man about to jump off a building and DLR saying, well, you might as well jump. Jeez. Next up on the countdown of 6 of the most misunderstood songs of the rock era, I got Semi-Charmed Live, the breakthrough single by Third Eye Blind at number 4. Semi-Charmed Live is a feel-good anthem. It's an energetic celebration of living in the moment, having fun, and embracing the highs of life. Right? Wrong. Don't be fooled by the infectious doot, doot, doot chorus. Third Eye Blind frontman Stephen Jenkins has been open about the true meaning behind Semi-Charmed Live. He's very candid that the song was inspired by his own struggles with addiction, specifically referencing the highly addictive drug. I'll spell it out here because you can't say it on YouTube. A crystal meth, anyway. Stephen explained that the lyrics depict the dramatic highs and lows of that particular drug, the euphoric feeling of chasing a high mixed with feelings of emptiness and the dreaded destructive side of addiction. Actually, I spoke with Steven about the dark reality behind Semi-Charmed Life, a song that sounds like it's about as happy-go-lucky as it can be. Here's what he said.
Its ultimate step wasn't nihilistic necessarily, but it was a danger that was almost death. It wasn't really life affirming. My response, my kind of thing was I want to affirm my own aliveness on my own terms. And I think I was insecure about that because I didn't know if that was and the thing is that I was living the life. I did step out of all the norms and I did move away from society, and I did become part of the bohemian music life that was still existed at the time in San Francisco. Is a dinosaur now.
Yeah.
But I did that, but with the sense of I want to express this aliveness that I feel. And so it was counter to grunge. It was not part of what that was about.
When I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be alright.
Take me through kind of the process of writing and recording that song, because there's so many little intricate pieces.
There are a lot of iterations of it. I recorded it several times, and I recorded it before I met any of the people who played on that record.
Yeah.
So a lot of the songs on that record existed before. There were a lot of iterations of musicians in Third Eye Blind, and it really started. Third Eye Blind really started as it's always been sort of me sitting on a bed with some ideas in my head, and then trying to, it was a studio kind of endeavor. And then trying to explore that through these kind of these meandering lyrics through exploring a rock band. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't want to do loops and I didn't want to do hip hop per se. I wanted things to kind of rock somehow, and they just don't really go together. And so that not going together from the beginning, and for me not fitting into the post grunge, post punk, any of those kinds of worlds of not fitting in, has really been a cornerstone of what this band is. Mm-hmm. We don't fit in, and we've never fit in.
I took the hit that I was given, then I bumped again, then I bumped again.
Huge hit. I mean, it's been used in Friends and Contact that year, beginning of that movie, and American Pie and all these different things.
Goodbye. Toot, right? Toot.
I mean, did it just...
That's news to me. I didn't know any of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of amazing because the song's about snorting meth and facials and...
Yeah, right.
It's pretty, I never thought it would get played on the radio, and I didn't want it to be the first single, and I really didn't think it'd get played on the radio because it's a dirty, filthy song.
They censored it, of
but
course.
The thing is, radio will do anything for catchy tunes. Yeah, they'll put up with anything.
And they, of course, censored it. I mean, there were the different versions that they put on.
I guess they did.
Yeah. Semi-Charmed Life remains one of the biggest hits of the late 90s, but its true significance lies in its duality. A catchy song with a sobering message. It's a reminder that sometimes the most upbeat melodies can hide the most profound struggles, and that awareness and honesty in art can help break down stigmas surrounding addiction. Another one is Blind Melon, No Rain. Stephen Jenkins and Third Eye Blind had great success with Semi-Charmed Life. The band's debut single jumped to number 2 in Canada, number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it went to number 1 on the alternative rock chart, number 1 hit. Next on 6 of the Most Misunderstood Songs Countdown, we're up to a ballad that speaks to us in riddles and rhymes. You know the song? Wow, it comes from a very scary place. And number 3, I got Possession by Sarah McLachlan. From the very first time I heard Possession by Sarah McLachlan, I fell in love with her gorgeous voice. I found it both haunting and moving. To me and millions of others, Possession sounds like a love song, an intense poetic ode to obsession and longing. And its beautiful arrangement and emotional delivery makes it seem like a romantic ballad about being utterly consumed by love and infatuation. Sarah McLachlan, just amazing. But Possession is actually a heartbreaking story about obsession, an obsession that crosses boundaries and the pain of unreciprocated love. It was inspired by a real-life experience involving a stalker who was alarmingly fixated on Sarah McLachlan. I mean, the song's lyrics are not just poetic expressions of love, they're actually reflections of the desperation and emotional turmoil caused by unhealthy obsession. Sarah confided that she wrote Possession after being contacted, I guess repeatedly, by a fan named Uwe Vandre. He was obsessed and refused to accept Sarah's boundaries. He sent her creepy love letters. Now, she tried to be kind and appreciate him as a fan, but it actually turned into a potentially dangerous situation. The lyrics were written from that perspective. And when I say that they're creepy, here's just a smattering. My body aches to breathe your breath. Your words keep me alive. Your words keep me alive. And I hold you down, kiss you so hard, I'll take your breath away. And after I wipe away the tears. Yeah, that's a lot. The song was Sarah's way of processing the experience, transforming her pain into art. It's a rare example of an artist turning a deeply personal and traumatic experience into a universal message, kind of warning about the dangers of obsession and the importance of boundaries. Now, Sarah McLachlan's Possession was the first single from her incredible album, Fumbling Towards Ecstasy from '94. It was a mid-chart hit for her in her homeland of Canada. It went to number 26. It actually stiffed on the Billboard Hot 100 and went to number 73. What the hell were people thinking? It actually climbed to number 4 in the alternative rock chart, though. It's one of the most breathtaking tracks of the 90s. So when the song became a hit, at least on the alternative charts, Andre the Stalker actually sued Sarah McLachlan, claiming that the song was based on the letters that he wrote to her. He claimed they formed the basis of the song, but then before the lawsuit went to trial, Andre took his life and the case was dismissed. That's an intense story. The cut at the number 2 spot on our top 6 misunderstood songs, it's a disturbing one. It's Maxwell Silver Hammer by the Beatles.
Bang, bang, Maxwell Silver Hammer came down.
Man, with his quirky, deceptively cheerful melody, Paul McCartney really duped us on Maxwell Silver Hammer. At least when I first listened to it. Reminds me of that bizarre and brutal scene in the movie A Clockwork Orange with Malcolm McDowell. When he's singing in the rain. This is while unleashing a vicious attack. I mean, how can such a happy-sounding song turn into a soundtrack of a deranged villain?
On ahead. Bang, bang, Maxwell.
Now, the lyrics of Maxwell Silver Hammer that depict a series of violent episodes. Maxwell bashing people with a hammer wrapped in a cheerful, almost childlike melody.
Maxwell Silver Hammer made sure that she was dead.
This contrast between tone and content has led to widespread misunderstanding. Many people assume it's just a darkly comic satire about violence. But Sir Paul wrote Maxwell Silver Hammer as a parody of innocent nursery rhymes inspired by the idea of mixing cheerful tunes with dark themes. He wanted to create a song that felt like a children's song, but told a disturbing story, kind of like a musical Twilight Zone episode.
Back on the boy. He creeps up from behind.
Paul's explained that he was inspired by the kind of old children's songs that had dark or morbid lyrics beneath their innocent melodies. A lot of the nursery rhymes are that way, right?
Maxwell Silver Hammer.
Recording during the sessions for the Abbey Road album, Maxwell Silver Hammer was a complex and somewhat stressful project. McCartney was insistent on recording with a bright, bouncy arrangement, even though the recording process was plagued by technical difficulties and a lot of disagreement among the band.
Dirty one said we caught a dirty one. Maxwell stands alone.
Producer George Martin later joked that the song was the most complicated nursery rhyme ever recorded because it took dozens and dozens of takes to get it just right. Ringo and George called it the worst recording session ever. Even though it was credited to Lennon and McCartney, as all the songs were, John didn't contribute to the lyrics. He actually didn't even play on the recording of Maxwell Silver Hammer.
Made sure that he was dead.
John, of course, with his wry sense of humor, he actually hated the song. He called it, part of Paul's granny music. He said that about When I'm 64 as well.
Still feed me when I'm 64.
All right, it's time to give you my number one pick on 6 of the most misunderstood songs of the rock era. We go back to the heart of the grunge era in September of '93 for the Smashing Pumpkins' terminally deceptive song, Today. Now, Today is another track that comes across as this cheerful, upbeat song. I mean, it feels like hope and good vibes. The lively guitar riffs and memorable chorus give it that energetic, positive feel. But if you pay attention to the lyrics, there's an underlying sense of loneliness, even uncertainty, and a struggle to find clarity when everything feels uncertain. Now, Billy Corgan wrote today about a single day when he was battling truly dark thoughts about taking his own life during the Siamese Dream sessions. All right, so here's what happened. Billy was in the depths of depression during the fall to winter 1992 period for about 2 to 3 months, which was actually part of an 8-month episode. He was in a seriously dark place. He was not only planning his own death, he was giving away his belongings. He was thinking about the funeral, what music would be played. He was mentally preparing for it. Corgan recounted waking up one day thinking, all right, if you're not going to jump out the window, you better do whatever it is you need to do. And that same morning, he wrote Today, a song that ironically starts with "Today is the greatest day I've ever known," directly contrasting the darkness that he felt. From many interviews, it's assumed that the song was written on the very day Corgan was actually going to do it. It's crazy. The song kept him from doing it, apparently. The upbeat melody and hopeful chorus were deliberate, ironic statements masking the true despair inside. The opening line, "Today is the greatest day I've ever known," it's often taken at face value, but Billy Corgan has explained that those words are incredibly ironic. They're spoken from the perspective of someone who's desperately trying to convince themselves that things are okay even when they're clearly not. Especially the second time he sings, "Today is the greatest." He says, "Today is the greatest day I've ever known. Can't wait for tomorrow. I might not have that long." It's pretty clear. The song grapples with feelings of emptiness and the struggle to find optimism amid the emotional pain. Billy wrote Today in the aftermath of a period, like I said, of intense personal turmoil. He was battling that severe depression, and the song was his way of confronting those feelings head on. The lyrics reflect a complex mix of hope and despair, an internal dialogue of trying to hold on to positivity when everything feels out of sorts. What metaphorically talked him off the ledge was actually writing this song, underscoring the idea that the act of writing, it pulled him back into life. He was inspired by a desire to create a song that captures the contradictory emotions of hope and hopelessness. He was also experimenting with melodies that sounded bright, and upbeat, but carried darker lyrical themes underneath. The arrangement was designed to give audio to the dichotomy of what can be going on inside a person that the outside world just doesn't realize. Today, of course, became one of the Smashing Pumpkins' most beloved songs, often misunderstood as just a feel-good track. But its true power lies in its honesty, acknowledging that sometimes hope is a fragile thing. And even on our darkest days, we gotta keep searching for that light. Gotta kick at the darkness until it bleeds daylight, right?
Kick at the darkness till it bleeds daylight.
Today was the second single release from the Siamese Dream album. It didn't have crossover success, surprisingly, into number 44 in the UK and number 27 in New Zealand, but it was a number 4 track on the alternative rock chart and number 28 on the mainstream rock chart. Oh man, that took a lot out of me. That wraps up our countdown of 6 of the most misunderstood songs of the rock era. After going through so many songs and hearing how people interpret them differently, come to realize it really boils down to how the song speaks to you personally, right? It's one of the best things about music. It's a gift to all of us. I mean, a song can be a comfort, can be a warning, can offer hope, and can evoke all kinds of emotions. Once it's finished, you can take what it means and use it in your own life, whether to lift your spirits or give you the strength to face whatever challenges that come your way. Not to get all deep, but that's how music is for me. Sometimes the creepiest songs in the world give some people comfort. Well, what do you think about these songs? What do you think are some of the most misunderstood songs, or songs that maybe hit you differently than what people think of them outside of your circle? Let me know below. Let's have a great discussion. What are your memories of these songs? And let's talk about that. If you like our content, we do invite you to subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Every day, it's about putting music on a pedestal and remembering the great times. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.